What changes have you noticed since you have played American football when you were younger?
Yeah, the that's an interesting question for sure, Jaythan, because when I was playing football, it was in the '70s and the '80s. I graduated in '84. The last year I played football was '83, and that's 30 something years ago. So we're looking at a tremendous amount of change. I mean, even if you just look at the equipment that is used nowadays, the shoulder pads. One of our players this year, I used to call him Earl Campbell because he had huge shoulder pads. If you'll notice, the shoulder pads now are much smaller, much more streamlined, but they're safer. You know what I mean? The technology of the shoulder pads, the technology of the helmet. There's not a whole lot of change as far as the game goes, other than it was all about the run game back in those days. Everybody in America was running the football, running the football, running the football. Whereas these days everything is wide open. It's spread. It's all about speed and not everybody. Don't get me wrong, but the pass is such more involved in what American football is these days compared to where it was back when I was in school.
Do you think the American football we have today is safe for anyone to play?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I get frustrated. I know the NFL. We hear about all the rule changes that they put in place to protect players. You look at helmets, new designs, new technology is coming out with helmets all the time. To me, that is hilarious. Not hilarious, but really, I find it intriguing. I was just reading an article before y'all walked in on that. The statement said that football these days is safer than it's ever been. I know there's always the inherent danger. It's a physical sport. It's a violent sport. So there's always going to be the chance for injury, but there is in everything else. I think that the safety measures that the lawmakers, the decision makers have put into place in the gear that we wear these days, I believe that the rules that have been put in place. You look at high school football. I mean, the rules that have been put in place for Texas high school football are all to protect the player, all for the safety of the player. Everything is streamlined in that direction. So without a doubt, I believe that football these days is as safe as it's ever been, even though our players these days are bigger, they're faster, they're stronger, which leads to more contact, which leads to more collision, which leads to more violence on the field, violent contact. We're still safer because of the rules in place and because of what our equipment is being designed to do, and that's to protect our football players.
Has American football become safer over the years?
I do believe, Jaythan, that our game has become safer over the years. I don't think it's anything that is, that it wasn't safe back in the '80s. I don't believe that. I don't think we had the knowledge of the things that we can do to protect our players. How can we design a helmet? How can we design the padding? How can the teaching of tackling, for example, these days? We were always taught to use the crown of our helmet and wrap up, and now everything is taught to avoid making contact with your head. And even the way we teach it here with our defense, what we call hawk tackling, which we got from the Seattle Seahawks, and a lot of people, the head is not involved in it anymore. And I think that is the way that the evolution of football has gone, is to take our head out of it as much as possible.
Would you rather play American football now or back when it was different?
That's, either one. I could take this a couple of different angles. You want to play now because football is just such a popular sport. We're in Texas. Football is king in Texas. And no matter what whatever sport you play, I know you're a baseball player, a track athlete, but where do you have the big crowd? What does the media cover? Football is on the big stage. So, as far as that part of it, shoot, man, if you want to be watched and you want to be admired or cheered for, football is where you want to be. Football was still a big thing back in the 80s. Football was still a big thing in the 70s. But I think it is it's the number one sport in America. And no questions asked. That is a proven statistic. Football is king. All your viewers, you can get that off of your media with your TV and the number of people that go to the games. While baseball and basketball are very popular sports, football is just, it's number one in America, the NFL, college football, and you play football in Texas, Jaythan, and football is king in Texas. So I would say I'd probably rather play it this day and age. It's we've kind of gotten away from the the old school coach of, man, don't drink water, you're a sissy, don't act like we got to be tough, we're not going to drink water, we got to be, let's go out here and roll around in the concrete and and go till we drop, because of the advent of knowledge of hydration and safety measures. You really don't have that type of coach anymore, which is what we grew up with. It was like, we're gonna go for 3-hour practice and we're not gonna drink any water, and the rules and the regulations of football were not the same as they are now. Where now everything is more safety conscious, everything is about making sure our athletes are taken care of, as opposed to, hey man, we're gonna prove we're the toughest man out there. You know what I'm saying?
How has American football had an impact on your life?
Well, you're talking to me today. You know what I mean? That's a very easy question for me, Jaythan. It is my life. Other than my family at home, that is all I do. I do football year round. As the athletic coordinator, I'm responsible for other sports. So, it's like last night I was at a girls' basketball game. Tonight I'll be at soccer games, supporting and cheering for our other athletes and our other coaches. But football has made my life. It has been everything. This is my 29th year of coaching. It's gotten me to a head coaching position. It's allowed me to work alongside my sons as they came through our football program. And without football, I don't know what I would be doing. I really don't. There was nothing else that I wanted to do going into college than to be a coach. That was it. And so it has had 100% impact on my life. It has been the direction of my life. It has dictated the course of my life. I owe, who I am and what I am to my coaches in the past, along with obviously my parents. And I owe where I'm at in life as a husband and a father and hopefully an upstanding member of our community to the game of football. So it's had an impact, a huge one.
Do you think American football has gained popularity over the years due to the innovations of technology?
I don't know if we're talking on innovations of technology. I'm going to take it the direction of media. I'm going to take it the direction of internet, computer, TV, and what they do, and it's crazy. What you can watch now. I mean, you can watch NFL Network 24 hours a day. You want to watch football? Back when I was y'all's age, Jaythan, you watched the Sunday game at 12, which was usually the Cowboys, the Sunday game at 3, and the Monday night football game. And that was it. Sports Center hadn't come along till like about my junior or senior year. There was no ESPN back then. So football was just what you got and what you read about in the newspaper. So technology has advanced football beyond degree to where, we can watch football 365 days a year. We can pick up our phones and look for anything. We can get on our computer, look for anything. Go home on our TVs, and it's crazy. So it's done it for everything in our life. Technology has taken our life to the point that we can do just about anything. But it's done the same thing for football. There's no doubt. Like I said, Jaythan, you think about that. You think about how you can access football right now. You could stop this interview, pick up your phone, and be watching anything you want to watch from this season. Anything you want to watch from 10 years ago, 20 years ago. When I was your age, that was gone. That was non-existent. We didn't have that. You had 2 games on Sunday and 1 game on Monday, and that was it. And of course, back then we didn't have too many channels and all of this stuff. And you can watch almost every college game on TV, and it's just technology has blown up in this world, and football's been a part of it. And because we can never get enough football, it's been a good thing for the game of football for sure.
Thank you, Coach.
All right.